see me clear?
Yeah.
Oh, so a couple of things you mentioned was that you're trying to pass the Nclex.
Yes.
So where are you? Like, okay, just give me a quick background and let me get an idea where you are with everything.
I took it 4 times already.
Okay.
But the first 2 times I didn't really like study. So
okay.
But the last time I went was in February this year. So yeah, that's it.
So where did you go to school?
Sigma Health Career Institute.
Is that like in Sigma? That's not in Florida, is it?
Park. It is.
Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just trying, like, because I don't know if I've heard about it before, or I know somebody who might have went there, but I was just trying to, like, jog my memory and see if I know that name from somewhere. Do you feel like they provided you the resources or they prepared you well to actually take the Nclex?
No.
Not at all? Okay. What do they give you a report as far as your performance on the Nclex and like what? Okay. Yeah. On that report, do you happen to still have those reports?
I think so. The last one for sure. I think I still have it.
Okay, you can send that, by email if you still want us to, chat along another time. But I just wanted to kind of have an idea if you actually have what they call like I guess if you didn't do well, they can give you like, your areas of weakness or your strengths.
Yeah, I have 4 below and 4 near passing.
Okay. So that's good that you have that report. And it usually does have like a subject where the content that you need to work on most. What study prep tool are you using?
Right now I was thinking of using Archer.
Archer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before, did you use any at all?
Yes, I use UWorld. I use so many. I spend so much money on reviews. Like honestly, I can't remember. But I used a couple.
Okay, so you've used UWorld before. Have you ever used Saunders?
The book?
Both the book and the online version.
I read through the book.
Okay. Because the reason why I'm asking these questions is I'm really just trying to narrow down exactly where the disconnect between, what you did in class was and what's really holding you back as far as, making the transition from you've already went to school, you've already done your time, you've already got your clinicals. Now we need to take that and turn it into what you're studying on paper so you can pass your exam. The biggest, I guess I would say the biggest misconception right off the top I can say is, what you were learning in class and all that other stuff is probably not some of the most important. If you cannot figure out how to answer those questions on the Nclex, you can take it as many times as you need, you will probably not pass. And I do have to say this, Nclex is actually not a very difficult exam. It is just tricky. The thing here is to try to find out what are they really asking. Like, you have to understand how to read your stem on the question. You have to understand how to read the answers. The select all that apply essentially become a true or false statement. I think you've heard that before, right?
Yes.
When you have select all that apply with like 6 choices, every choice is a true or false. If it's not true, move on,
Yes,
Yeah, so I'm gathering from what you're telling me, right? And when did you finish the nursing courses? I mean, the nursing school?
That's one of the things too. I had a gap in between because I finished school at the end of 2018 of October.
Okay.
and I had surgery in 2020.
Okay.
So this whole year, that whole year, I was like, I
Pretty much
wasn't
out.
focused because,
Right.
yeah, I wasn't worrying about the test. Although those years I went twice,
Uh-huh.
which I wasn't expecting to pass anyways because I wasn't studying. So
Right.
in 2021, I really like started to study.
Uh-huh.
And this year when I went, I spent 4 months studying for the test, but I still
So
didn't make
another thing I'm kind of like trying to get I'm hearing from what you're saying is it has been a long time since you went through this content. And it might not even be your fault that you might have maybe I would say even forgotten a few of the stuff or how things go by as far as, even test taking, the math that it's in nursing, the skill. I mean, you might have the skills, but the book content, which is really like being quickly tested, is something that you probably need to like, once you get done with school, you have to take that exam within the first 1 or 2 months, because the longer you take, it's like the amount you remember just starts to diminish slowly over time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, given that it's been since 2018, that you could have been doing
2019.
another, huh?
2019.
2019, I'm sorry. Since 2019, you could have almost done another, nursing program in between. Would you consider, I mean, no, seriously, because it's been a while. It has been a while. You've invested time, and at the end of the day, the only thing I would say is how bad do you want this? And if you really truly want it that bad, would you maybe consider, redoing some of the coursework? I mean, it doesn't, because the way I'm looking at it is like, it has been such a long time. It is probably valid that you probably don't remember all the content. However, Archer, I've never heard anybody use that. So I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. So UWorld, a lot of people like swear by it. Back when I was going to school, UWorld was like out there and I just couldn't get into it. In fact, their questions were mostly at the time, this is a while back. At the time, their questions were, a lot of trial, stuff like that. Saunders, I think you can find it on Elsevier website. This is what I used when I was doing my RN program. And to be honest, I don't know which edition it was at the time, but they always update it every year. So you want to get the latest, obviously. But Saunders, besides the book, I had the version that was the internet version, the online version. And while I was getting ready to take my Nclex, I was knocking out an average of about 200 questions per day. This meant that I had to give up some stuff. I had to, stop doing some things that I was doing. But I went to an accelerated program, so I really didn't have the choice. My weekends were consumed with that. You're working, so we can't necessarily say that, hey, I need to stop working so you can focus on this. No, all I'm saying is like you need to find a way to carve up some time. Consider, like really reevaluate how bad do you want this? Chop off some time, chop off some people from your life who are distracting you. Focus on, doing questions, not studying the book. You're beyond reading the book. That's especially when you're coming out of nursing school. Like immediately at the end of nursing school, you do not need to read books. What you're focused on is questions that mimic the exam. Because if you can get that muscle memory on how to answer them and then get good at answering them fast, when you get to the test itself, you're fast. You remember how to answer them, and you can move through the exam really, really fast. And at the very top, I asked you, do you feel like your school prepared you very well, to take the exam? Because let me tell you something, there are some schools that really, like nursing, it is a collaborative experience. You have to show up as a student, and your school with the faculty and everybody and resources also shows up. So by the time you combine the two, you have really good high pass rates. So unless you are thinking about retaking nursing again, I would say right now, try Saunders and see if that might be able to help. Second, you might need to spend a little bit more time studying. And I'm not talking about like, you're working all day and then trying to study at the end of the day, like at 8 p.m. when you're exhausted, you have nothing left in you. No, I'm talking about, if you can take a month to two completely off, where you wake up for the next 6 to 7 hours with good breaks in between, you're spending time studying, refreshing content, trying to remember what it was like to go to school. It is going to be a challenge, to pass this exam. So that's number two, what you really need to do. Number three, if you have that report that I was talking about, print it out on a piece of paper, take a good look at it. Anything you feel like was below passing, that is your weakness. They've already outlined your weakness. Anything that was above passing, you need not worry about that, because obviously you have the skills to have those passing. Focus on these things that are below passing, that you need to get stronger at. So once you get those going, that's where you need to spend a lot more of your time, nothing else. Everything else you need to know about nursing, you're not going to learn from school. In fact, you actually start learning nursing when you're on the floor working. That's when all the learning truly happens. The books, the schools, all this other stuff is just preparing you to be, just like completely at the basic level. And once you get to a floor, once you start working somewhere else, that's when all that learning actually comes in. That's when you follow seasoned nurses who have been out there, who are in the trenches, who teach you time management, teach you,
I work
how
right
to
now
monitor
as a
all that.
PCT.
Okay, so you've seen all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And the difference between you going from PCT to RN level, it's just a small exam in between. Now I want you to ask yourself, how bad do you want to take that exam? And are you willing to actually invest the time to get it knocked out? Because we can,
I work per diem, so
are you
I
able
don't work
to take
every day.
time off?
Yeah, actually, I took next week off.
Next week is not enough.
I know, but I only work like 2 days per week.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so if you can work 2 days per week, so let's say you decide you do weekends, Saturday and Sunday you work. Do you work Sundays?
Mm-hmm. I work every other Sunday.
Okay, so imagine this. What if the weekends, right now while you're in this current state, what if the weekend becomes, I am going to work the weekend, and possibly, I don't know if they give you a stipend to work on the weekend. You work Saturday and Sunday. However, Monday through Friday, be very selfish. Your phone is not on during the daytime. Unless you have children who are trying to get in touch with you, nobody should be able to reach you. I promise you, if you do that for the next 60 days, the Nclex will be the easiest exam you've ever taken in your life. You have to get these priorities in order. Saturday and Sunday, that's your work day. Monday through Friday, that's your day. Spend 7 hours per day, every day, Monday through Friday, going through Saunders. If you need to get back onto UWorld, you need to do that. But Saunders is what I recommend because their questions were almost identical to the questions that were on the Nclex. This is several years ago, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and they literally swear by it. If you can do that, what I'm telling you, you shouldn't have any other problems. I think the issue right now you're having is truly just prioritizing getting this done before all the content, all the knowledge, and everything that you knew, vaporizes. Be humble about it. Step number one is acknowledging that it's maybe an issue somewhere, which is what we just got through talking about. The fact that you just said, look, I might need some help. That is step number one. Once you get to that, mentality of like, I need some help. What else can I do? Take my input, talk to somebody else. Some of those nurses on that floor that you're working on should have been the first people who should have been there saying, hey, we noticed that we remember you going to nursing school. Then you had a medical issue that you had to take some time off. Now it's 2022, but you still haven't got your license. What the heck is going on? But that hasn't happened. So you've recognized the issue. You're trying to identify, the best way around it. And I think that's the first step. So if you can implement those, the selfishness from Monday through Friday, and just work on Saturday and Sunday, you will see true results within 30 days. Because when you're taking these honors, remember, they do give you score reports. How many questions are you getting wrong? How many are you getting right? Where do you rank where you to take your Nclex? Okay, so the longer you study, the better you get on these Saunders. Remember, I'm talking about questions. I don't want you to go back and start opening nursing books, talking about how to do this procedure. You will learn that on the floor. Let's focus on you taking questions.
How do I access the Saunders? Because I have the 4th edition, which is good.
Let me see if I can just find it.
Are you talking about the questions that comes with it in the book, or like?
So the questions that come with it in the book, I don't think they're as comprehensive enough. I'm talking about questions for it's online, where you take, it's a comprehensive review for the Nclex RN. I don't know if you've seen that. So there is a link I'm pulling up right now, and I think I should probably put this link in your email. This is the 8th edition. And essentially, what this is, like I was saying, it is all online. Your test is going to be on a computer. Remember what I keep saying, you need to simulate what kind of test you're going to be taking. So if your test is on a computer, you need to be doing this on a computer. Now your cell phone, now your tablet. The way I'm sitting here, I have my laptop here and I have a monitor here. When you go to take those testing centers, there is a computer and a monitor right in front of you. Sit down, spend some chair time. I'm talking about butt to chair for the next 60 days. The first thing you need to do is to truly, if you want to evaluate you're making progress in 30 days, check and see if your scores have gone up. I'm going to send you the link to these Saunders, because it talks about it has over 5,200 practice questions. If I do that, if you have these 5,200 practice questions, and let's say divide that, you're doing about 200 questions per day, it will take you 26 days to go through Saunders. But we are realistic. We're not going to be able to do 200 questions a day. It's going to be days where you do 150. It's going to be days you do 100, and then you're going to be like, okay, I'm burnt out. So my realistic number is always, I'm going to say at 5,200 questions, let's just say you take about 120 questions per day. It will take you 43 days to go through Saunders. You're not doing Saunders on Saturday or Sunday because you're working. You need to earn a living. So by taking just the weekends off, you've already increased the number of days. It's going to take you close to 60. So this is not like, if you can take this seriously, you can still pass this exam. So let me just copy this link.
Question.
And I'm listening.
So just focus on questions, like don't take no reviews with no one, just do questions, and whatever I'm not, like if I see that I get a question wrong, go through the Saunders book to like.
So I don't have access to my old Saunders because it expired.
Okay.
So whenever you take these questions in there, they give you a breakdown. They have why you got the question wrong, or why you got it right. Of course, they got the right or wrong. And then they also give you what's called the test taking strategy, meaning this question, you got it right because you recognize this about this question. You got this question wrong because you missed this part on the stem. It could be just like small little word, like the word not. You know, when you end up like a double negative is always going to give you a positive. Remember in math, you put two negatives together, it gives you a positive. So it's small little subtle things like those. And it's nothing complicated. I promise you, it is all basic information. Sometimes these questions, I mean, they're just meant to trick you just to see if you have the basic knowledge to pass. If you do all that stuff on Saunders and you see, whenever you get done with an exam, you have to go back and review the entire exam, including the questions you got right. Just because you got it right doesn't mean just, oh, I got that right, gloss over. No, you got that question right, but now you need to understand, why did you get that question right? And they might be explaining something in the text talking about why you got it right, and you're like, oh, well, that's not why I selected that answer. I selected that answer because I thought it was this. But Saunders is telling you per Nclex, this answer is this because A, B, C, D. I can't say that I've been in your shoes, but when I was going through undergraduate program, I used to work double weekends, meaning I would show up to work at 6 a.m. I didn't get up until 10 p.m. and do 6 a.m. Sunday until 10 p.m. Sunday. And that was my full-time job. I mean, that's full-time. But then Monday through Friday, I was at school, you know, struggling it out. Was it tiring? Absolutely. Is it doable? Yes. So if I can do it, I think you can do it too. You just have to really want it that bad. Yeah. What was the other question? I think you had two questions.
Yeah, no, with the Saunders, you said you sent me the link, right?
Yeah. I just emailed you the link right now. So that's the Saunders that I bought, but they have the 8th edition.
Okay, that one, I have it, okay.
Okay. So if you have access to the online version that will mimic everything that you're going to be doing during the exam, you want to sit down, spend quality time on that, do your questions by noon, change into now understanding why you got those questions right. That is the first step. If you can get that done, I think you will be making a big difference. I don't want to discourage you as far as, what your journey is. A lot of things happen. However, if you feel like you're not making any progress after using that Saunders, which is, like I say, the one study material that I recommend, I would say, do you feel strongly that you want to retake nursing school again? Was it easy? Heck no. We all went through it. Everybody remembers it's nightmarish. But if you wanted this hard, bad enough, you will probably do anything to get it. There is something else you asked me about, doing reviews. What kind of reviews have you been doing with like groups and stuff?
Yeah, it was on Zoom actually.
Okay. Were you doing reviews with like online companies or signing up with like Kaplan or something?
Yeah, it's called Nclex Junkie. It's just like this, but there's like several other students on the Zoom.
Okay.
And she does it. Like
And
she'll go to the book and tell you this is the page that you need to, and she will point out, oh, this is what you need to know at the test. And after we'll go back and study it.
Okay. I haven't seen that content because of course I wasn't looking to take the Nclex, so I probably didn't find out about that content. Are these like free sessions? Are these paid versions?
Paid.
Paid. Okay.
Paid like money, not paid.
Like how much paid? How much were you like paying for these classes?
600
per session?
No, it was like she having a 5 days actually. Like Monday to Friday, $6.99 from 9 to 5.
9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. All right. Okay. Well, that's a good baseline. Listen, if you need, let's see, I would love to do a Zoom like study session. Like I said, I'm usually free on the weekends, like Monday through Friday. I will be making these TikTok videos. A lot of these things were recorded a while back. A lot of the videos are sitting in my phone. Like I have so much video sitting on my phone, and sometimes I just get a clip and just post it out there. And people are like, "Oh, no." Some of that stuff was recorded a while back, like some of it like months back. But on the weekends, I'm usually available. I would be open to helping as far as Nclex content is concerned. However, some of the better people who help with that are maybe like faculty or people who really deal with Nclex. Right now, my mind is like focused on several different other things. Like I have some graduate students who are working on some other stuff. So when we're talking, I might not be the best person to help you with Nclex, but I will tell you what I did, and that's exactly what I did. Is it worth paying $6.99 to have somebody kind of like a guided study session? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, and I don't want to knock them. However, this is what a good professor told me one time. You have to be comfortable with sitting down until your butt almost goes numb. It's called butt to chair time. Until you get comfortable with that, a lot of things are going to be difficult. They told me, don't ever make another flashcard. That is a shortcut. You're not understanding anything, you're memorizing stuff. But essentially, a lot of these exams, once you memorize stuff and then you don't see exactly what you memorized, you get tricked. If you knew the rationale around a lot of these things, I can take a question that is like this and then turn it this way, and you will recognize it from both ends because you understood what it was. So my objective for you to get on these Saunders is for you to understand the rationales from what they explain from each question. Once you answer those 100 questions, go back and review every last one of the entire 100 questions. Why did you get it right? Why did you get it wrong? And what is the test taking strategy for that specific question? I want you to especially focus on the report you got from Nclex, the sections you struggled on. Focus on those. If you bring those above the line, let's say there is a magic line, if you bring them above the line, even the ones you had above, you're either going to strengthen them or they're going to stay where they are. But the ones that are down here have to come above the line, because if you don't get them above the line, you're not going to pass this exam. And don't, I don't know, who else you've talked to. Don't believe anything anybody else say. If you really, really focus, I cannot insist on this. You have to be selfish. This is not something that is taught to us, but you have to get selfish. I'm talking about so selfish people will wonder, they will start saying you're acting strange. Acting strange because you do not want to be in the same position again. Because I know you see, like all these things I've been talking about, you saw one or two of my videos, and I talk about toxicity and stuff like that. It's because I see it on that, like everybody, negative people always like have something negative, and it is constant, right? And it's like they suck you into their world, and you have no option but to start thinking negatively. Yeah. But then when you look on the floor right there, they have brand new Apple Watches, brand new tennis shoes, drive a nice little brand new Jeep, always a Starbucks cup in their hand. They're always on vacation in Tulum. And you're like, how can you complain about toxicity when you're doing everything that, pretty much says, I'm having the best time of my life? But we're like, oh my God, this is so horrible. No. Let them give you their paycheck. All I'm saying is like, look, it's not all, butterflies and roses. And yes, there is a lot of stuff going on, but you can get this done, Let's start with that, Saunders.
So I just got to put in the time.
Yeah. And I think it's listed at $62.99. Get this on your laptop at home. And maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, I don't know when you're off again. Just literally just sit down. If you need a reminder, download one of my videos, the one I talk about, stop wasting time, and put it somewhere. And the moment you start feeling like, hey, I'm losing focus, you can have like one of those rubber bands they put on. The moment you start getting distracted with watching a TikTok or Instagram or TV, Hulu, whatever, snap yourself back and say, if I can't do this for, now, it's now or never, because you only have how many years to take the Nclex? Is it 4 or 5?
I don't know. You have a certain years? I don't know.
That is, you have a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you will have to go back and retake.
I know some state after 3 times, you have to take a remedial course. Some like Florida, after 3 times, you have to take a remedial course.
Right. Did you take the remedial course for the?
No, I went under New York.
Okay, you went under New York. So consider that too, because it's been such a long time, and then you had a lot of things going on in 2020, and we are just literally coming out of a pandemic. Maybe you might want to consider that remedial course, like literally a good accredited program, not just some random school somewhere. A good accredited program. Sit down and just do it. Like don't think about I'm wasting time, or I've done this before, I shouldn't be here. You go in with an open mind and open heart and say, I'm here to take a remedial course. How long is it going to be? 12 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever. Get that done while you're studying this, because you have these Saunders for, I believe it's 2 years, and continue taking these questions. When you walk out of there, if you truly blocked out everybody and became selfish, like I keep saying, you're no longer going to be that person. Everybody's like, where did she go? Her patient needs this, her patient needs that. No, seriously. I've worked in places where I used to moonlight. I actually moonlighted in FTAC, and I watched what PCTs go through, and I was like, this is horrible. It's a lot of work. In the ICUs we worked at, we were told, there was no PCTs, so I was okay with like, I'm gonna show up, and everything that needs to happen today, it's gonna be about it's all on me. But when you go to other units and you're like, somebody's waiting for you to get your vital signs? Seriously? That took me back. That completely stunned me. I was like, okay, You can keep waiting for vital signs. I'm just gonna go and get them and move on. So, but you have to literally just try these things I keep saying. And I know they work. I know you can pass the test. Let me tell you how I know you can pass the test. I told you I went to a fast track program. It was for all people. It was for people with bachelor's degrees who wanted to breach over into nursing. I had people with music degrees. I had people with business degrees. We had an accountant. We had an IT specialist, an accountant, a few business majors, and then there was a bunch of us with science degrees. We had 12 months. The program that I went to had been in existence for like 4 years, 3 to 4 years. It has been in existence over 10 years now. And you take all those people with like, no background in healthcare, 1 year to do clinicals, 1 year to study nursing, we've maintained 100% pass rate.
Wow.
So you cannot tell me Nclex is not doable. It is all about preparation. Because when we got into that fast track program, we were told at the very beginning, there is nothing else outside this. This is it. You're going to study when you wake up. You're going to go to bed at 12 o'clock at night. And then you're going to come to class at 7 in the morning, smiling like, I just slept all night. 100% pass rate, 10 years running. That's called preparation. It's not that everybody in that class was intelligent. Heck, these were music majors. Within 1 year, they were able to pass the Nclex the first time. Preparation, that's it. Nothing else. So once you start preparing yourself, you have to discipline yourself and say, hey, it is all on me now. I can either be, in 6 months, you can either be an RN or you can keep showing back up at your job as a PCT. You have to choose either or. That's why I'm going to stop this conversation and to say we've talked long enough, and I hope you found value in what I was saying. But take that and then use it to try and maybe refocus yourself. Okay. If you ever need anything else, you have my email. Just shoot an email. Look, if weekend I might be able to respond as fast. On weekdays, it might be 3-4 days before I respond. But on weekends, usually I'm on a computer making videos and just playing around and just relaxing.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Do you have any questions before we hang up?
No, I'm just gonna take what you tell me, and I'm gonna start doing things different from now.
Yep. All righty. All the best.
All right. Thank you so much.
And once you get your Nclex, please let us know. Please email me and just tell me.
Of course, I will.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Thank
All right.
you.
You take care now.
You too. Bye.